朋友们，本期这个视频非常出彩，是由中国学者一对二，一个是来自于台湾的学者，一个来自于日本的学者。我们本期节目分为两大部分，前半部分大家看看现场精彩的视频，后半部分我来说一说。
Victor, I don't imagine that is the message that Beijing wants to hear in response to these drills. The People's Liberation Army said they are a strong punishment for separatist acts. I mean, is that a total overreaction to the president's inauguration speech?
No, I think Lai Ching-te's speech on May the 20th, as far as the One China policy is concerned, is tantamount to a declaration of war. He risks the peace between the two sides of the Taiwan Strait. And China need to do something to teach him a lesson and to warn the separatists in Taiwan that don't go beyond the point of no return, because otherwise China, as demonstrated by this round of the joint military exercises, will decide to blockade Taiwan. And that will really crumble the economy in Taiwan, and it will really force Lai Ching-te to the corner, because if he tries to resurrect the unfinished civil war between the two sides of the Taiwan Strait in 1949, for example, that's what he will get. And if he wants to bring disaster to the people on both sides of the Taiwan Strait by risking the so-called Taiwanese independence or separatism, that's what he will get. And this is not against the people in Taiwan. This is very focused on the separatists in Taiwan. Now, in the world of today, no one can recognize both China and Taiwan at the same time, because that's in violation of the One China policy. Any attempt to push Taiwan into a separate, sovereign, independent country is dead before it's starting. And that's the lesson that China needs to teach Lai Ching-te. And if he really wants to become more and more desperate to push for the so-called independence of Taiwan, he will destroy peace across two sides of the Taiwan Strait. Okay. And he will bring calamities not only to the people in Taiwan, but many other stakeholders in this part of the world. We are at a critical moment. We need to promote peace rather than allow people like Lai Ching-te to destroy peace.
Okay, Victor, thanks so much for that. But Tomohiko, you were listening to all of that. Do you think, is this a declaration of war like Victor outlined? And how is Japan and other regional players actually reacting to this? Is the whole region on edge?
I think it's quintessential Mr. Gao, who speaks extreme rhetoric almost all the time. This is not going to invite war at all. Mr. Gao has just spoken along with the carefully crafted lines spelled out in the white paper, Taiwan white paper, issued in 2022, in which the Chinese Communist Party said clearly that the so-called quote-unquote separatist must be removed, which is why Mr. Gao is targeting at an individual, the President Lau. But by the way, he is the president, democratically elected in the elections conducted very much in a peaceful way. Taiwan is an exemplar of a democratic process, which a lot of countries in the world should look up to now.
I want to bring up a map that was put out by the People's Liberation Army now, which basically outlines exactly where the drills are being held. It basically shows the drills encircling the entire island, Fang Yu. That's obviously a deliberate tactic to try and intimidate Taiwan. Is it working? Fang Yu, I want to come to you now. What do the Taiwanese people want? Because it feels like the country's been in limbo, stuck between these two superpowers, the US and China. How do the Taiwanese people want this to play out in the next couple of years?
Yes. So according to the public polls, so we see that a super majority of people, like 80 or 90% of people, thinks that we want the so-called status quo. And the most interesting thing is that people define status quo in different ways. So most of people define status quo as the one country in each side. I mean, Taiwan is a side and mainland China is another side. And because it's a fact, because since the 90s, we have been democratized and we elect our own system, our own president, our own government, and we have the military, we have a constitution, we have everything, every element of an independent sovereignty country. So people are now willing to defend ourselves, defend our democratic system. That is the status quo for most of people. People reject explicitly the proposal by China, that is a one country, two system. And also our government, the democratically elected government, reject the proposal of the one China principle, which says Taiwan is part of China. So we refuse it. People vote to resist invasion of China. That is very clear public polls in Taiwan.
Okay, Victor, we heard there that a war is up to President Xi. He's the one who's going to decide if there is an invasion or not. He has also said the military should be ready for a full-scale invasion by 2027. What do you think is going to happen? How likely do you think it is?
To unify Taiwan is not only something new, it is the policy of China ever since 1949, when the nationalist government fled from the mainland China to Taiwan. So don't pretend that this is something new. This just came over overnight. No, this has been consistent Chinese policy for the past 75 years. Therefore, please be assured, Taiwan will be reunified. We hope it will be achieved by peaceful means, but if Lai Ching-te and the separatists want to test fire, they will really test fire, because eventually it may be achieved through non-peaceful ways. Now, the Taiwanese panelists talked about one country, two system. If they do not want to have one country, two system, eventually they will get one country, one system.
首先我必须得说，这个视频呢是我剪辑出来的高光时刻，原视频大约有接近20分钟，大家看到的只是剪辑出来的6分钟而已。至于视频当中那一个台湾的学者，我不准备怎么去说他了，因为他实在是水平有限，他就像更多的台独分子一样，只会喊政治口号而已，真的拿出真才实学他没有，让他拿出实力他也没有，只能流于表面。这个日本学者呢有点水平，而且我必须得把日本学者的话好好说一说，因为极具迷惑性。可能有些人一看到之后感觉日本学者说的有道理啊，的确是如此啊。朋友们，日本学者说的有没有道理？有道理，我也认可他有道理。他的确把当时日本承认所谓一中政策的内涵给说了出来。但是啊，我在前几天都给大家汇报过，我忘了是在小频道还是在主频道，我说过，外国对一个中国的表述有多种多样，有的是一个中国原则，有的是一个中国政策，有的是两岸同属一中啊，等等五花八门。但是我们中国人一定要非常明白，他们只要不承认台湾是中华人民共和国的一个省，他们所有的表态都留有转圜的空间，即当他们国家利益需要的时刻，他完全可以在坚持之前叙述的基础之上，可以硬生生的把两岸给分开。他们之前的承诺完全具备从文字层面进行解读的空间。看日本不就有吗？人家说是之前日本政府认识到中国的一个中国立场。这句话如果仔细去品读，日本的确没有承认一个中国政策，对不对？所以说在当时那个中国比较弱小的历史背景之下，咱们可以去承认。但是等到我们实力强大了，那解释权就会向我们进行倾斜，无关紧要。当时人家之所以制定这样的对华政策，已经考虑到了有朝一日进行彻底逆反。我们一定要去思考，日本这个学者只是把他们将来可能逆反提前说出来罢了。所以说有道理，但是也体现出来了人家的狼子野心，对不对？其次朋友们，我想说 最终决定事实的还是实力，而不是你之前做出怎样的承诺，那完全都没有用。说句心里话，朋友们，现在这个国际事实，尊严只在剑锋之上，真理只在大炮射程之内。所以说前几天咱们外交部部长助理华春莹发了一个推特说，日本之领土仅限于他们4个岛，言下之意，钓鱼岛不是你的，冲绳也不是你的，是其他很多西南诸岛完全都不是你的，而且这个必将得到实施。言下之意什么意思啊？如果日本你闹得欢，中国将独自带领诸多国家去实现2战的波茨坦公告。日本你就给我滚在那4个岛，不要给我出来。至于那些岛交给谁，中国可以托管呢？2战结束之后，美国托管了多少太平洋的岛屿，我们为什么不能托管？对不对？所以说如果真的要闹，那有闹的空间。这个日本学者还说赖清德是台湾民选的，所以有法律基础，他可以闹独立。如果这个逻辑成立，琉球地方长官也是民选的，琉球也闹独立，为什么日本不去承认人家？你自己不让琉球独立，却让赖清德让台湾独立。所以说这个日本贼子就是一脸坏相，而且是欠揍的那种坏相。这就是我为什么说咱们中华民族伟大复兴之后，第一件事情就是直接攻击日本，如果能给他彻底铲平，最好不过了。这个国家它就是人类的败类，东亚的毒瘤，不能留啊，真的是不能留啊。之前让日本大老远用2颗原子弹，朋友们麻烦美国了，将来我们得出手啊，你们说是不是啊？所以说朋友们，如果真的动武，也就省了听他们在这逼逼了，有啥意义？没有啥意义。就像咱们学者说的那句话，如果你台湾学者真的对1国2制有意见，那我们就来1国1制吧，又能如何？我们武力强，我们能把你击败，怎么地？说吧。